Yo, what's happening everyone? It's me, it's Count, here with an all-new Pokemon GO video. Today, I'm going to be counting down the top 5 shiny legendaries in Pokemon GO. Now, these legendaries that have a shiny variant, these are highly sought after by pretty much every player, and they have a lot of significance in the meta, or they are just simply really cool. So if you end up enjoying this list, make sure you sound off in the comments section below, or if I left off a Pokemon that you feel deserves to be on this list, definitely say so as well. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So without a doubt, there are a ton of legendaries that have a shiny variant in Pokemon GO currently, but these 5 definitely stand out for a lot of different reasons. Some of them it's because they have some significance in the meta, so of course having a shiny variant of them adds that extra bit of coolness to them, but there's also some that have just a lot of significance. They may not necessarily be meta relevant, but the way that they were released or the way that they have impacted the game definitely gives them reason to be on this list. Now, of course, this list is incomplete because, of course, not every legendary in Pokemon GO has their shiny variant released just yet, but definitely as time goes on, this list could definitely change, especially when shiny Mewtwo is eventually released. But regardless, let's get right into it. Here is number 5 in the top 5 shiny legendaries that are currently in Pokemon GO. Now, coming in at number 5, I actually have Lugia. Now, a lot of players will contend with this Pokemon's placement on this list, but I actually think this Pokemon is very underrated. Lugia actually has some PvP significance. It may not necessarily be great in the Great League, mainly because it will not exist in the Great League, but when it comes to the Ultra League and Master League, Lugia can actually take you really far. And of course, that's because it has extremely high defense and it's going to have really high TDO. Its moveset is also phenomenal, and its dual psychic and flying type is actually really good. And on top of all of that, Lugia was the very first shiny legendary that we got in Pokemon GO, so of course it's going to have a lot of significance in that regard. Shiny Lugia is still sought after by plenty of players. It's definitely a cool looking shiny, and like I mentioned, because it was the very first shiny legendary that was released, a lot of players hold it in high regard. Now coming in at number 4, we have Kyogre. Now Kyogre's shiny form was released in the Water Festival of 2018. It was kind of like a landmark event, mainly because a ton of shinies was released at that time. And of course Niantic has gone back to the well of re-releasing Kyogre quite often, but regardless of the fact, Kyogre is something really special. It is the very best water type in the game, and it's probably going to be the best water type that we're going to have for a very long time. So definitely having a bunch of high IV shiny forms of this Pokemon is something that plenty of players seek after. Now, the other reason why a lot of players really like shiny Kyogre is of course its color scheme. It has a really bright pink coloring to it, which is definitely a variant from its original form, and it definitely stands out in raid battles and gym battles as well. Now coming in at number 3, we have Raikou. Now just like Kyogre, Raikou has a lot of significance in the meta. It's really strong in raid battles if you need a great electric type Pokemon, and it's definitely one of the top tier Pokemon that are currently in the game, even in terms of neutral DPS. So a lot of players will want to have shiny Raikou, mainly because it is really powerful in raid battles and gym battles, but more importantly, a lot of players just simply like the look of this Pokemon in its shiny form. Raikou, of course, has kind of like a tiger-like aesthetic, and the colors of its shiny form is a lot more tiger-like, so a lot of players really like the fact that they could get a Pokemon that closely resembles a really cool real-life animal like a tiger. Shiny Raikou is definitely at the top of a lot of players' lists, and of course the only way you could get shiny Raikou is through the Raikou Raid Day, which only happened for one day, and a lot of players who were not able to participate in this Raid Day will definitely want to seek out Raikou. Now coming in at number 2, it's Shiny Groudon. Groudon is one of the powerful Pokemon in the game that a lot of players really want high IVs for, and that is of course because as a ground type, it is the absolute king. Shiny Groudon is definitely really cool looking. It has kind of like that gold tint to it, and of course it is really unique compared to a lot of other shinies. Of course we've had a lot of shinies that were just slight recolorings, but Groudon is a seriously complete overhaul of its coloring, so a lot of players really enjoy that about shinies, and Groudon is no exception. Also, something I want to point out is that Groudon's shiny form is kind of rare. Even though it was recently re-released as a research breakthrough, not a lot of players have shiny Groudons. If you have a shiny Groudon, I definitely suggest you hold on to them, or you could use them as really nice trade bait. If you have quite a few shiny Groudon, you could definitely pick up pretty much any legendary for it, or if you really want, you could get some really nice shinies in return. I do know a lot of players who are still looking for their first shiny Groudon, and they're willing to get rid of any of their shinies in order to get one. Alright, coming in at number 1, it is, of course, without a doubt, Rayquaza. Now, interestingly enough, when I filmed this video and when most of you are going to be watching this video, Shiny Rayquaza actually isn't officially out, but it was recently announced that Shiny Rayquaza is going to be in Pokemon GO, and we're going to have an entire month to get this shiny. Quite honestly, this is the one shiny legendary that a lot of players have been wanting for a very long time. The color scheme is extremely cool. It does have that kind of black dragon kind of look to it. A lot of players really want this Pokemon, mainly because of its meta relevance. It is the very best dragon type in the game, and of course it is a really strong flying type as well. A lot of people really want this Pokemon, and getting the shiny variant of it is of course at the top of a lot of players' list. It's definitely a really cool shiny, and I'm really glad Niantic finally decided to pull the trigger in releasing this shiny variant. It's definitely going to be a really exciting month of raiding. So yeah, there you have it everyone. This is my top 5 shiny legendaries list, and of course this list is completely subjective. If you have any disagreements or if you have a different top 5 list, definitely sound off in the comment section below. I would love to know your top 5 shiny legendaries that are currently in Pokemon GO. And of course this list includes only the Pokemon that are currently out, so of course there are definitely a lot of shiny variants that will eventually be released, and of course this list will definitely changed. But until then, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if it's your first time here. I'm Count Jinsula, and I'll catch you all later.